I was looking at GPP now since like the market had quiet down. So my thoughts was that I didn't have none when I looked at it. I was expecting for price to be like hovering around at the 382, but I thought the Aussie had some like a little effect on the GBP because I wasn't paying attention to GBP last week. And I thought, since the Aussie was so strong, I expected for price to be lower than where it was because hearing y'all saying y'all was long on GBP. But I figured that price would have had moved further down. So my confusion is with the narrative of GBP being long and where price is right now. I was looking for like the D extensions to be hit on the 1 hour. Because I went down a rabbit hole and they were saying, because I don't know, I wasn't attentive last night. But I was reading an article this morning and they were saying the reason for the boost was for it was an increase on iron ore or something like that. Or they rose the rates on the iron ore, which caused the market to rally. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, yeah, that's what I was saying because when it get in this area, this one I started looking because I'm gonna be looking for the breakout around here and or for a head and shoulders or a crown to form. So, but my question was like, do GBP, the data for GBP is it strong enough to even make that move back to the upside? And that's what I start questioning. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, yes. Because the thing is, I think where my butt be in a whole trade a whole week early, and then and then it go ahead and bust a move. Um, and then what happens is I end up getting caught with a whole bunch of swap fees, only because you know I see the area, I'm doing my calculations, and put my order in and it hit, and then I'm just letting it ride. But what's hitting me up is the spread and what's nice because I'm jumping in too early. So when I start seeing, I was looking at the 15, and it's like maybe if I'll just wait to see if this plays out, or just give it time because the next news ain't until till next week. So it might be start in this area start ranging. So then I started thinking like, well, is this something where I want to see if I want to just play a range play? So I was just trying to figure out what had to. Hmm. My rules say, if I don't know, leave it alone. But the thing is, even though I'm not looking to like take a trade, but I'm just looking at the chart. And what I do is I put in key areas to look at to see if price, reach that suspected area, as far as with the news, seeing if I'm comprehending my technical and my fundamentals together and just putting in a guesstimate. So that's what I've been doing with some pairs, like especially GU and stuff like that in oil. So I just been putting like a future fib, I've been calling it, and just seeing if price goes that way, cool. I followed the process. But if I didn't understand the news and and I didn't comprehend it the way, then of course it didn't go on my way. So that's what I've been doing. And that's the reason why I'm kind of talking future like that. Because to me, it still fascinates me that when we start looking at the sweet spots and the key levels, like, and you look at the time that, and I'm not even basing it off time, but from the markets that I put down, it's funny. It was like as soon as the news came out, it's like they was waiting on this just to get price to this area so they could take it back down. So that was the guesser. So that's what I was following.
Ryan, good morning. Good morning, everybody. Ryan, how are you? Doing pretty good. It's a crazy pair, right? Yeah, yeah. Oh man, I have none. It it after the what happened fundamentally. I mean it is holding back in that zone, so it's retesting the area. So, like Joy had mentioned, it might get range bound, right? Um, once I got stop profited on that, I kind of just left it alone, let it do its thing. Because it had moved up. So I had adjusted stops underneath that low that got taken out on that swing back down. But like right where where it almost looks like a left tip somewhat. But yeah, right underneath that low. But and then it's just, hey, you just have to wait and see. But you can see how it's still hanging, at that level. So like you say, with the strength that it picked up, on the Aussie side, it may be range bound for a little bit, because I'm not bearish on the pound either. So you know that's what happens, sometimes. But it had moved quite a ways long before that collapse and then running into that major level. So yeah, I don't I
I didn't
don't
want I didn't want this
mm.
to be a chart that I marked up and got tired of watching the price action and came back like, dang, it blew exactly where it was supposed to go. So
Yeah, no, it may start to move back along. I'm still not sold on the long term, Aussie strength. I'm just not, you know. Uh, so you may see that start to get back bullish, but we'll see. What is it? It's right on the edge of that cloud, eh?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll see how it goes. Like,
On YouTube. So give me one second. Yeah, I'm not sure what's happening there, but okay. We'll see if that helps there. So let's Yep. So that any other thoughts from anybody else on the pound? On the pound Aussie anyway. No. All right, cool deal. So let's keep rocking through these through some more of these pounds. The pound CAD. Similar conversation. I don't know if anybody else's chart looks like this, but my chart was frozen for the first half of the week. And things just popped in yesterday. But similar to that pound Aussie, right? Strong push back down to the downside here with that Canadian dollar news, right? And oil pushed to the upside, and that catalyst. So we're pressing back down out of the zone here. We got to a 382, but we stalled in that 118 level and started making our way back down. So we got a daily support at 165, 238. And so as we move down to the 4, pushed out of that 118, 127 zone off the 80-20 on the 4. We're sitting at just shy of an 8-6 retracement here, 66066. Yep, just shy of a 8-6 retracement level here. So we'll see what happens here, right? Deep push into the zone. Got that daily support there, which is outside of the A. So if price continues pushing to the downside, we get to that A, we'll take out that capital fib, right? So we'll see what transpires. Obviously, that surprise coming out of Bank of Canada. And that continued that push to the downside here, right? Continue that push to the downside. So we'll see what transpires and see if we get a flip or if we continue pressing to the downside. Just want to see this here. So it's overextended as well, right? That's the sub fib to the downside. We hit the D extension on this gap down, and now we're consolidating here. So we'll continue to watch that to see what transpires at the deep retracement zone on the 4. And coming down to our 1, similar look to the 4, right? We are at a, actually, no, almost identical. Just shy of the 8-6 level. And we see that sideways push here. Okay, so we could potentially continue sideways for the rest of the week. We'll see what happens, see if there's a catalyst to move this in one direction or the other. But that's where we sit on the pound CAD deep retracement level. Do we get a flip to the upside, or do we continue pressing bearish? All right. Let's see here. There's your sub fib there, fresh AB boundary. So we'll see if we get a push down into the 118, 127 zone, potentially tap that daily support, right? That'll take out that A. And this will now be our capital fib. And we could potentially look for that retracement play like that. Okay, so we'll watch to see this one as well to see what transpires. All right. Questions here on the pound CAD?
Nope.
Oh, all right, cool deal. All right. So let's keep going. Pound yen. Here we go on the pound yen, right? So we're pushing up to this weekly resistance level, right? 618 retracing off the daily. We've been long, right? Been long. So watching this level to see if we get any sort of retracement before continuing to the upside, breaking through that level, making our way to the D extension there. Okay. So that's what we got our eyes on again, right? We see just the sideways push here. All right. So as we drop down to the 4, here's our 80-20 scenario, right? Waiting to see what happens. Waiting to see what happens. We didn't continue down off that initial and a push down, and we came back to the top of that little range there. So again, do we push into that 118, 127 zone in this weekly resistance, give a retracement to retest this daily level, and then push to the upside? That is the question there, right? So I started putting this one in, and I'll finish it out here. We'll just have to monitor, right? Because we may not get this deep retracement, right? It may continue to be shallow retracements because of the strength in the pound and nothing changing with the yen, right? So monetarily or fundamentally, right, we know that the strength is in favor of the pound in this scenario here, right? So we wouldn't be surprised if the shallow retracement is all we get. Okay, so we'll watch and see what happens here, see if we get a reaction and a press down or not, right? So that's the 4 coming back down to the 1, right? And we see just the short-term bounce. And then here's the capital fib on the 1. All right, so we got a shallow retracement, double bottom, pushed out, right? So we're waiting to see what happens. The 118, 127 zone is above that level. If we push into that zone, I don't see it coming back below that level unless there's something major that occurs. All right. So if it breaks or when it breaks above that level, I'll be looking for something like that to happen. Right. So we'll watch to see what transpires to see if we get that retracement on the 4, or if not. Okay. So questions on the pound yen? No. All right. Cool deal. Pound dollar. So, come to the weekly first. Weekly, we wicked that 382 right there, tested that weekly support, pushed to the weekly resistance, pull back, and now we're ranging. All right. Coming to the daily. This is the capital fib here. That's our capital fib coming off the highs. Okay. If we bring this all the way back, right? It never popped in, but that's what it is. Okay. So this fib to the upside is a sub fib tracking the move here. We got this double bottom just shy of the 382 there. And then we push into the 118, 127 zone, just shy of a 618 retracement. Okay. Now we're ranging. So we want to see what happens. We're bullish on the pound. Also potentially, right, with a rate statement potentially coming next week on the dollar, could potentially see the DXY push to the upside, right? So again, we're waiting to see. We're trapped in this range, bottom of the range, potentially making our way back to the top of the range. And then we'll see if price turns back over and comes back down to the bottom of that range, right? So we're watching here, just waiting to see what happens. So as we move down to the 4, ooh, all right. So let's do this. That one randomly disappeared. So we'll clear out all of the lower ones and we'll just bring these down. Boom. So here we are on the 4, right? And this is that sub fib running to the upside. I'm going to pull that daily fib out and we'll just look here, right? So on the 4, we also have a 382. Didn't get to the, we also have a 80-20. Didn't get to the 382 on the daily. Double bottom at the 236 level on the 4 hour. And this is our range, right? So we're waiting to get a catalyst in one direction or the other, break above 126 or break below 123. Okay. So that's where we are on the 4, 80-20 there, coming down to the 1. And you see the choppiness here. Okay. There's our fib there. Shallow retracement just shy of the 118 level. And that's that pullback. So pounds are all stuck, right? Waiting to see what happens. And if we get a catalyst in one direction or the other. That's where we sit on those. Any questions on those? Nope. All right. Let's look at some more yen crosses. I'm gonna start with this CAD yen. So, boom. Beautiful move to the upside. Past the 382, sitting at a 50% retracement right now. Got daily resistance at 105,758. Okay. 105,758 is just shy of the 618 retracement off this daily fib to the downside here. All right. So what I'm looking to see is what happens here, right? Do we get another push into that zone and then pull back? Or do we turn over here and at least get a retracement back to this daily support level at 101, 183? Okay. So coming down to the 4, here we are in an 80-20 scenario. Price is in that 118 to 127 zone. That daily resistance is here. Your D extension is there at 106,769. Okay. And along with everything else, we're pressing sideways here. Okay. So looking to see if we get price to turn over at some point and make its way down to at least that 382 level on the 4, potentially back to that daily support level at 101, 190. And then that TP2 level is 530 pips to the downside at 100, 411. Okay. So this is one I got my eyes on. I'm just screen that so I can get that posted in the Discord for us. But I'm watching this one closer to see what happens, at least potentially for a retracement before continuation. Okay. So that's the 4 coming down to the 1. We got a similar story, right? Shallow retracement, not quite into the 118 and 127 zone yet. Okay. So if we box this out, that zone there is in line with that 118 and 127 zone on our 1. All right. So we get a push into the zone, test that daily level, and see if we can get some action back down to the downside. Have a good one, Brandy. All right. So potentially another push to the upside here. And then we'll see if we get this move. Okay. So we'll watch this one, see what catalyst we get as we move through the rest of this week and into next week. But that's the setup there on the 1. Questions on the CAD yen?
No, sir.
Sweet. All right. So we'll watch that one there. All right, then the Aussie yen. We've pushed into that daily level at 93,352. Right? Been long. Okay. Coming into these key levels, we broke that weekly level. Now we're at the daily level. Okay. And see if we're able to break through that and continue long. Coming down to the 4. Is that? There we go. What we got here? Okay. So that's the fib there, right? That's the fib there. 618 retracement. That push up got us to the D extension there. Okay. Got us to the D extension. So we'll be looking for a new fib to pop in. That'll look like this on the 4. And we'll see what happens, right? We broke that level. So that level will come out at the close of the week, that weekly level. So let's see. Do we turn over here or do we continue to press higher into this zone? And get something like that. Okay, so that daily level is one we're going to watch to see if we're able to break above it and stay above bullishly to get into that 118, 127 zone. Weekly level there, D extensions outside of that level. So potential for it also to push to that next weekly level at 95, 714 as well. Right, so watching that closely. Again, bullish on the Aussie, not so much on the yen. So we'll see what transpires here to see if we get kind of similar action to that CAD yen, right? Another push to the upside and then a potential retracement before continuation. Okay, so that's the 4 coming down to our 1. And the 1, we're sitting in this 118 and 127 zone right now. Shallow retracement, didn't get to that 382. So do we push to the D extension first or do we pull back here? Okay, so that's the scenario on the 1. Questions on this one? We may get a reversal first. We'll see, though. Nope, no questions. All right. There we go. I'll be interested here to see what happens. We'll watch this one too. All right. So that's the Aussie yen. That Euro yen. So this one is interesting. We're bullish, right? We're bullish. 618 retracement, weekly support. Push to the upside. Came into this weekly resistance in that 118, 127 zone, and we've been pressing sideways ever since, bouncing back and forth on this monthly level. As we come down, nope, there we go. As we come down through our levels, this is the 4, right? Shallow retracement, push back up, and we're just hovering sideways here. Okay. Now, zooming in on this, we'll look at it on the 1. Come down to the 1, and in this consolidation, we had this 80-20, shallow retracement pushing to the 118 level, came back down. We have a crown here. So, question of, what scenario plays out. Right? We started to make a move to the downside to create that right tip, but we came right back to it. Right? We came right back to it, staying above this previous monthly level, and we're just hovering. So, does this crown play out, or do we press to the upside and continue long? Okay. So that's what I'm looking at here. We did get to that 382, that TP1 here, and we got a double bottom right here. Right. So that support held and we pushed off of it. So now we're coming back into the resistance. What happens here? What happens here? Does it invalidate the crown pattern? That's what I'm looking to see on this one. Right? Does the crown pattern hold, and does this turn back over and make its way down, or do we continue pressing to the upside? Okay. Questions on the Euro JPY? Still overall bullish on the yen. I mean, on the euro. Oh, all right. And then the Swiss yen. Taking a sweet time, right? Double bottom at the 236 level with this weekly and monthly support. Push up, came back below this weekly level, right? Continuing to create all-time highs, right? So now we're hovering in the zone. We're hovering in the zone, and the question is, do we stay below and start making our way back down? Here on the daily. Whoops, that's one. There we go. Is that right? Yeah. Okay. So on the daily, create a new AB boundary and started this retracement to the downside here, right? Breaking back below that weekly level. When we come to the 4, this is where things get interesting, right? We got an 80-20 scenario here. Got an 80-20 scenario here, and we're pressing sideways now, right? If we drop the cloud on, we're still above, right? Pressing into it, but moving through the middle, right? So some indecision happening right now. Do we turn over and press down to the downside is the question. But 80-20 scenario here. Okay. Back to that daily support. 412 pips. Right. And then that TP1 is 836. Okay. Coming down to the 1. See it a little bit more closely. Now, here we also have potential crown pattern, right? So we pushed down on the 1, got to the 382, but on that push back to the upside, took out the low, foresee the right tip. Do we continue to the downside here? Okay. So I'm short here. Right? See if we get price to turn over, continue making its way to the downside. A higher time frame, decent amount of potential to the downside. We'll see with the fresh AB boundary on the daily, 80-20 on the 4. We'll see if we get that continuation to the downside there on the 1. Okay. Questions on the Swiss yen? Is anybody still holding this? Or is it just me?
I am.
Joy? Oh, sweet. Sweet. So we'll see what transpires here. We'll see what transpires. See if we get that to play out.
And how I played this is the reason why I'm studying GA like that, because I took profit on that first one and then I waited for it to come back up and I jumped back in.
Okay. I dig it. So looking for You took your profit, looking for that pullback, and then I feel you on that. I feel you on that. We could see it. We could see it. Yeah. Yeah. We shall see. We shall see. No questions there. That's another good opportunity. We'll continue to watch it swing and follow it there. And then that NZDJPY, well, dollar yen first, right? On the one, I'm sorry, on the 4, here's our 80-20 scenario. And we're just hovering, right? Just hovering. See if we get a catalyst to push this to the downside. See if the dollar continues to retrace for a bit. If it does, we could see this make its way to the downside there. I'll come back to the daily. Yep. Here on the daily, this fib, this move to the upside took out the A of that previous fib, right? And we're tracking a crown pattern here. Still technically in play, but it did push higher than this left tip here. All right. So now we're looking here. That's the crown on the on this dollar yen, if that is to play out and push to the downside. All right. Just trying to turn over here. It turned over here as well, gave us a nice move down, but doing the same thing here, and we'll see what happens. But we'll need some dollar weakness in order for that to occur, and that may not. Right, that may not happen. So we'll continue to monitor that over the long term and see. So coming to the back to the 4, we see how this now makes sense. Right, that move to the upside there. Where'd they go? There we go. All right, there's our scenario there. Okay, so now as we make our way down to the 1, we'll run these one more time to the upside. There we go. Boom. So that's where we are on the 1 as well. Right, with the 382 here off the 80-20 move down, and now we're just pressing sideways, looking to see if we get some more momentum to the downside, at least get to on the 1 hour to TP2, at TP1 on the 4 is down here at 235. Okay, so that's where we sit on the dollar yen. Questions here? No.
Ryan,
Yes,
so you're looking for on the dollar, you're looking for more of a sell or a buy?
In the short term, right? And this one's going to be interesting to see, right? That's why I said we may not get back down to those levels, but here on the dollar, it's just ranging right now. We could potentially range until we get to the rate statement next week. But the other thing that I'm looking to see is, are we able to push down to this daily support level?
Right.
Right. If we push down to the daily support level, that could give a catalyst for some of these to push into those key support or resistance zones on the dollar.
Pairs.
Dollar crosser. So that's what I'm looking to see, is what happens in between now and next Wednesday. So it's all up in the air right now. Who knows? Right. So we'll definitely just trade what we see, but that's potential, but also that's a potential. So we'll wait and see what happens. But a push down will put us into that 618 retracement zone on this 4-hour fib. So if it does continue to retrace, we could see this make its way down.
Got it. Yeah, that's what I'm looking at too.
Yeah. Cool deal. NZDJPY. Let's go back to the daily first. It's just all choppy. All choppy. all sideways. So come down to the 4 where we get a little bit of clarity, right? This is a fib running off the high. Hold on. And get us back there. All right. So here's a fib running off the top of that range down. We got 80-20 scenario here. Okay. This is the move down. Shallow retracement 118-127 zone. Pressing sideways right now. Do we get another push to the upside to at least get to TP1? Right? Potentially TP2. Okay. So I'd love to see this move happen in the short term and then see if we get a catalyst, move more into a risk off environment, and then see if we get a reversal back down to the downside. Right? That's just future thinking, future playing around this section over here. But this is what we're looking at here, 80-20 scenario to the upside. Right? Strong bullish move here. Try to break out of that consolidation. We're pulling back. See if we get that push north. All right. So coming down to the 1. That's the look on the 1. I already pushed off that daily support. Now we're just ranging here, likely to continue to the upside. So if we flip this fib in that direction of our bias, boom. All right, so we're getting this pullback now, came to that 382 level, trying to push to the upside there. All right, so we'll see if this wave completes to get us to that TP1 level, and then see if we break that daily resistance and push to TP2. Okay. So that's New Zealand yen, right? And comparing this to the VIXI, 14s, right? So super risk off. So we could see this New Zealand dollar push to the upside in this scenario. Okay. Questions? Benny, I know we're sitting tight. You're sitting tight on most things. Anything else that you're looking at or watching from afar?
I jumped on a little bit late. Did you take a look at that Aussie CAD, that 15-minute play?
I did not take a look at the Aussie CAD. Ooh.
We had drawn that up last night
The
for a
fib
possible swing.
off the high.
Yeah, because it held up after that move on the CAD. So just seeing I had fibs running to the upside on the 15.
I'll run to the upside off here, off this.
Yep, because it's been making waves to the upside. So
I got you.
Yep.
Gotcha. 618 retracement. Yeah, beautiful swing there.
Yeah, so it's starting to pick up some momentum. I'm just wondering if it could make one last major swing to the upside. I was wondering, with both central banks making the move, which one, was gonna win out. But it's making a pretty good swing to this one that we talked about last night. Depending on which side you were leaning on. But we've been watching this one from the 15-minute. At those smaller waves, they've been making, higher highs and higher lows, and then it held up after that correction.
It did.
It held up. Yeah. So it's swinging long right now out of that zone. So we'll see. That one's that's up what we had talked about. Hey, if it comes down, if it's down in the zone and it gives us, the good risk to reward ratio coming into that sweet spot, do we want to take a shot on that for one more wave to the upside? So far it's moving in that direction.
Yeah. Back to the resistance, 90 pips.
Yeah.
I like it.
We'll see if we can hold the momentum.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's see what happens. See what happens there. Cool deal. Anything else?
No, I'm still holding long in that euro NZD. I've got a small position in on that euro USD long. I mean it's only up like 22 pips right now, but that's about it. The pound Swissy I've been holding long on. It's slightly up.
Yep.
So not too much, but I mean those are moving in those four, that Aussie CAD, that Euro NZD, that Euro dollar, and that pound Swiss. I mean they're positive right now. So
Okay. So that Euro
yep.
NZD, that swing off the low there. Take that out.
Yeah, we were going back and forth about that last night.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see which way. You know, I was just thinking more long term with that one.
Yeah, I feel
You know,
you. I feel you.
yeah, more long term with that swing, but we'll see. We'll see what the. I mean, I think the ECB would definitely keep hiking. It'd just be smaller.
Just
You
small,
know,
you think? Okay.
yeah, you know, smaller rate hikes. Uh, but that correction occurred with that euro because some of the inflation data, you know, started cooling off.
Right.
But I mean, when you look at President Lagarde, they're still way off their target, so
Yeah.
they're looking to hike. So I'm just thinking hikes will come, but just not as aggressive. And I'm still not sold on, at least right. And this is me putting on my long term hat. I'm just still not sold on you know, long term strength out of commodity currencies. I mean, I could be wrong, but
Yeah. Yeah. That's definitely a thought, right? Especially if things go the way they say with the rate staying higher for longer, could that push us into more of a risk off environment?
right. I mean, because they're back to hiking rates again, you
Yeah.
know, and so we'll see. You know, bond yields creeping up.
Yeah.
So it'll be, you know, keep an eye on the VIX, keep an eye on the risk sentiment, you know, as we move forward. But that's just my thoughts with commodities. And like I said, I could be wrong.
I dig it.
I am often. So
Me
we'll
too.
see. Yeah. So we'll see what happens.
Yes, sir. Cool deal, man. Appreciate you.
Yep.
All right, good people. If no questions, we'll be back at it tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Asian session with my awesome partner, Mr. Benny Allen. Until then, have an awesome day. Peace.
Thank
Thank
you.